Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carlo. I'm a professional photographer and videographer based in Chicago, Illinois. Today is going to be a very interesting topic. I'm going to be straight up with y'all. I haven't owned that many cameras in the 8 to 9 years of my professional career. For context, I started my career with a Canon Rebel T5 in 2016, and then a year later, I upgraded to the 60 Mark II. It was a great camera overall for the beginning of my career, and then I slowly shifted to mirrorless in 2020. And that's when I made the jump to this guy right here, the Canon EOS R6 Mark I. So this camera came out in the summer of 2020 alongside the Canon EOS R5. At the time, these were Canon's flagship cameras right after the successful EOS R. And I know what you're thinking. Sometimes I ask myself this all the time. Why didn't I choose the R5? Why didn't I wait a year later for the Sony a7 IV? Why the R6? A few things to keep in mind besides everything I'm going to explain later in this video. It was pandemic, so there's a lot of financial choices I had to make at that time. But in the 4 years I had this camera, there's a reason why I still use it professionally. Do not get me wrong, there's a whole bunch of cons with this camera itself, but let's go to the reasons why I use it. The first reasoning is because this is one of the best hybrid cameras for its price point. Now, since 2020, the value of this camera up until now has significantly dropped down from its original price point. Right now, the body itself is selling for well under $1,500. Now, if you're looking for a B cam or if you're looking for your first full frame camera, this is a great option. To get into some specs of the camera, this rocks a 20 megapixel full frame CMOS sensor. I know 20 megapixels doesn't seem like a lot compared to other cameras that are similar to this, but this is going to be great for those low light situations. And I'm talking about areas with minimal light. We're talking about indoors, or we're talking about close to dawn, nighttime, any of those situations, this guy can handle it. So for y'all that don't know, I shoot a lot of gym content professionally, and let's be honest, gyms do not have the best source to lighting. I'm also not going to be in the middle of the gym setting up light stands just so I could get a really great shot. This segues into my second reason, which is going to be the video capabilities of this camera. Now keep in mind, this is not a video camera whatsoever, but it still packs a punch. Starting with, this shoots in C-Log3, 4K 10-bit 422. This is great for video shooters such like myself if you're looking for a higher dynamic range or just more data overall when editing in post. It just gives that flexibility needed for those filmmakers, videographers, cinematographers, content creators. It has it. Also, to top it off, there's no crop at 4K 24p, 30p, 60p has a slight crop, but you're not going to notice it. It's literally 1.07 times. It's non-existent. And what's great, this camera has in-body stabilization. So it helps out. So let's say if you don't have a gimbal and you want to do handheld work for video, or if you just want to lower your shutter speed for a photo and you want to do a handheld shot, this is your guy. And again, a lot of the content that I make, I want a lighter everyday carry. So not having to use a gimbal and I could do handheld shots, it's honestly perfect.
So before I continue, I'm gonna throw this in the video anyway. I'm gonna talk about it later in the YouTube video. I literally have to wait for the camera to cool down. That and I have to go to work anyway. So the second part, I'm gonna be wearing something different. But yeah, the camera overheated and shut off.
Wow, just when I was about to get into the cons of the video, I'm gonna talk about this issue just in a sec. As you see, it overheated, and yeah. Obviously, I was going on about how great this camera is, but it does have its fair share of issues, as you can tell. Like most gear, not everything is going to be perfect. Like I mentioned earlier, 20 megapixels is great for low light situations, but all I could think about right now, that's pretty much it. I think for me, especially when it comes to photography, it kind of hinders me that I can't crop in if I find a different composition that I like, and you're just not getting that detail. Sometimes when shooting, I wish I really did have that flexibility just later in post to know that I could crop in if I need to. Like I said before, this is not a video first camera, so don't expect it to have dual based ISO. Don't get me wrong, it try to compensate that with the 20 megapixel sensor, so that way you could kind of work in low light, but also having flexibility to go up in your ISO would have been great. Also, I think the base ISO for C-Log 3 isn't that great either. I think it's either 400 or 800, which doesn't give you that much flexibility, especially if you're shooting indoors. And also, there is a record limit, 30 minutes only. Having a record limit definitely hinders any long form shoots. So if you're talking about YouTube videos, filming, interviews, podcasts, whatever it is, this cannot cut it. And that brings me into the overheating issue. So if you're planning to pick this up, be aware there is overheating issues if you're looking to do long form content. Last but not least, the biggest con I find with this camera is finding affordable lenses. As you may know, the RF system, it's very pricey. And the affordable RF lenses that they do have released, it's just not up to par of the quality that you're looking for. Now, I personally have an adapter and I buy third-party EF lenses because I still save a little bit of money there, but I'm still getting the quality. It's not the same. So I'm gonna need Sigma and Tamron to kind of hurry up and speed up the process for the RF system. All in all, the Canon R6 for the past 4 years has tremendously pushed my professional career very forward. It has been such a solid choice as a hybrid shooter, being a photographer and a videographer. It's expanded my work tenfold. Obviously, with limitations, there are workarounds, but you could do the best with the gear that you have. So overall, the Canon R6, solid camera. Am I looking to upgrade anytime soon? Maybe, maybe not, we'll see. To be honest, who knows? Sony sounds really good. With all jokes aside, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys can, leave a like and hit subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok and turn on notifications to stay up to date. And like always, much love. Peace. See you in the next one.